What is happening, my YT Gizang? Y'all already know what it is, man. This is your boy Rio, and if you are new, then welcome to the channel. Now, if you guys haven't heard by now, my boy TJ Watt is a paid man. Yes, indeed. I know some of y'all just waking up getting them boogers out your eyes. So if you haven't heard the news yet, man, let me go ahead and let y'all know what's going on. TJ Watt has signed a 3-year, $123 million contract with the Pittsburgh Steelers, in which this includes a $40 million signing bonus. My gosh. Goodness gracious. Now, $108 million of that contract is guaranteed. Okay, which sets him at an annual salary of $41 million a year. My gosh, bro. Which this makes him the highest paid player outside of a quarterback. And was this his second time doing that in his career? So, you know, he know how to get paid. That's all that means. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, this sits him at the top of the totem pole, which Jamar Chase and my boy Myles Garrett sit right up under him, which they sit at $40 million. Now, one thing I can say about this whole situation is that this will definitely raise eyebrows when it comes to other players who has yet to get their contract finalized. When you look at my boy Hendrick sitting over there at the Cincinnati Bengals, now I'm not saying he gonna make this much, okay? But he definitely got something to argue with now. But when it comes to Michael Parsons is definitely going to get paid, okay? In which I really do feel like he can outdo this contract a little bit. When you want to talk about his annual salary, I will say that Michael Parsons can definitely make anywhere between $45 to $47 million a year, which at that point it will sit him at the top of the totem pole. But we just gotta wait to see what happens. You know what I'm saying? But when it comes to TJ Watt, this is well deserving. It is. I'm not gonna lie to you. I know a lot of people, well, not a lot. It's gonna be some people that give a little pushback or have some questions and concerns because he's older. Right? He's 30 years old. In which I understand that. But at the end of the day, we still got to take into consideration this man is still one of the best defensive players in the NFL. Hands down. When you look at the past couple of seasons, you will see him in the top 10 every single year when it comes to leading the league in sacks. Point blank period. In which some of those years, he led the league in sacks. And then we also got to remember, he has the most sacks in the NFL, period, which he sits at 108. So that is something that we do have to think about when we start having questions or concerns about his age or whatever the case may be. And then we also got to add into the conversation that since Ben Roethlisberger left the building, we all know that when it comes to this defense, they are the front runners. They are the ones who has helped the Steelers get to the playoffs and get wins, point blank period. Okay, we all know how the offense struggled every single year. So because of that, and we know the fact that he is the heartbeat to that defense, we got to pay some respect to the guy. It's all right that he getting paid, man. So once again, congratulations to my dog. Well deserving of you, man. Break your boy off with a little bit of that, bro. $2 million ain't gonna hurt you, bro. You ain't gonna miss that, bro. Send your boy $2 million, man, just for making a video about you. You know what I'm saying? Now, one thing I can say is that I really do see the Steelers making moves, man, making major moves. Well, I ain't gonna say major, but they definitely making moves. When you look at this contract being finalized for my boy TJ Watt, when you look at them bringing Aaron Rodgers in, DK Metcalf, Jalen Ramsey, and I can't remember, I don't know why I can't think of his name, bro. The defensive player from the Eagles. But when you look at everybody that they brought over to the Pittsburgh Steelers, they really trying to solidify themselves in the AFC, in which I'm not going to say that they're Super Bowl ready, but they're definitely capable of going to the playoffs for sure, which they always do. But I think this got them a step closer to winning games, actual games in the playoffs. You know what I'm saying? So we'll see what happens, you know. But at the end of the day, you know, I can't really say that they're a Super Bowl team or a Super Bowl contending team because we don't know what we're going to get from Aaron Rodgers. Okay. And then the other thing about it, even though they have brought a lot of defensive talent over there to the Pittsburgh Steelers, it's still questionable, man, because everybody that they bringing over there are getting kind of old. In which Get Up had a whole conversation about the Pittsburgh Steelers defense and their problem when it comes to the age. Let's take a look.
This defense has really carried the Steelers organization. You look at last year versus the Baltimore Ravens in their first matchup. They won that football game 18-16. And it was that defense and 3 turnovers that they got in that matchup that allowed them to beat the Baltimore Ravens and Lamar Jackson and John Harbaugh. Now, it's not a world that you want to live in where you have to count on your defense every single game to get it done. You want Aaron Rodgers in this offense to be hitting on all cylinders. You want DK Metcalf to be catching touchdowns, whether it's a 50-yard post route or a goal line fade or a slant that Aaron Rodgers hit him on. You want Caleb Johnson hitting his head on the goalpost. But at the same time, the MO of this football team, what people know the Pittsburgh Steelers from, it's that defense. Now, when you have them out there entirely too much, that's when we see issues and problems, and that has been the issue since Big Ben retired.
Harry, I'm going to push back on that a little bit to Dan's point, which is when you're building a team, one of the indices you're looking at is how many players do we have over 30, and going into the season, they have 4, Darius Slay, Jalen Ramsey, Cam Hayward, and the aforementioned TJ Watt. So when you look at this graphic, my question is, if the 3 of us were running the Steelers, and we asked ourselves in an honest and sober way, is it reasonable for those 4 players on the left to all play in 17 games? Age, data, and stats would tell us that's a 50-50 proposition at best. That would be my concern about this Steeler defense. And Dan, I know you brought this up, but when you look at both the Bengals, certainly, and the Ravens and what they can do offensively, this defense has to play up to that level, if not better to where they've been in the past, for them to win the division. And that's my concern, is because of the age. Can they do it for 17 games against 2 teams we know can score with quarterbacks that are in their prime?
Yeah, man, I mean, it definitely raised some type of concerns. But we ain't going to know until the season start or until we get to like week 11, week 12. You know, hopefully they can hang on, man. Hopefully they can hang on. But they are old. But we'll see what happens. You know what I mean? Y'all let me know how y'all feel about this whole situation. Once again, congratulations to my boy TJ Watt on sealing that deal. Big ups to you, dog. Y'all drop them comments down there below. Let me know how y'all feel about this whole situation. I love y'all, folk. I'm going to get at y'all on the next one. Yeti.